Part 37. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 361. Dong Yao was expressionless. What do you mean? You gave me things, don't you just want me to do things for you? In our relationship, you really don't need to be so outspoken. Dong Yao. Lu Yuyo said again, really, we are all iron buddies. If you say a word, I will never say a word, and I will make things beautiful for you. Dong Yao's hand holding the plate was slightly blue, veins exposed. I have nothing to ask for your help. Lu Yuyo tactically leaned back. If you don't get paid without merit, then I can't ask for your gift. Dong Yao looked away, dug out a spoonful of beef grains, and another spoonful of chopped celery, and said indifferently, I bought it for my sister. I accidentally bought more than one, you just take it. After preparing the dipping sauce, Dong Yao walked past her with a cold face and a plate. Lu Yuyo shouted, am I the one who lacks your pocket watch? The veins on Dong Yao's forehead jumped twice. Lu Yuyo looked at Dong Yao's back and pouted. Wen Qiao had more than 600,000 RMB in her hand, and she took the money to her AF club. She went at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. The courtyard was quiet. She opened the door, crossed the courtyard, and entered the main building. It was still quiet, and there was no sound at all. Brother Dong is not here? She climbed to the third floor. The door of Brother Dong's bedroom was closed. She reached out and knocked, but there was no movement inside. The bed bulged slightly. Wen Qiao walked over, shouted again, and then popped his head out of the quilt. Who? Winko. Dare to love, this brother has been sleeping until now. Let him see the equipment. The thief emptied the house, and I'm afraid he's still sleeping. Wen Qiao. Oh, Xiao Qiao, you're here. Brother Dong rubbed his eyes sleepily, leaned out of the quilt, pulled a sweater and put it on his head. Is something wrong? Are you here to train, kid? It's okay, I want to ask you what equipment you need to buy. I have some money on hand. Brother Dong put on his clothes and rubbed his hair that was messed up with the bird's nest. I'm missing some computer keyboards and mice. Let's get a gym, a shooting room or something. Brother Dong, you are more professional. Go buy it, and I will transfer it to you. Brother Dong opened the curtains, and the house suddenly lit up. No hurry, I'll order takeout first. Wen Qiao saw that there were several beer cans in the trash can beside the computer desk. Brother Dong was living a life upside down. I'll ask an hourly worker to cook you 2 meals a day. Brother Dong ordered the takeaway. That's good, I like spicy food. You can ask me a part-time and from Sichuan province. Wen Qiao gave an okay gesture. No problem. In addition, I have to recruit a group of youth trainees. Brother Dong, help me check. Someone will come to interview this afternoon. It is good. The takeaway was quickly delivered. When the pot stickers, sour bean and fat beef rice noodles, and Dong Ji sautéed noodles, Wen Qiao casually mentioned, Dong Ji, you said last time that my eyes are good looking. Brother Dong took a big mouthful of powder and sighed contentedly. This tastes authentic. Ah yes, I said you have good looking eyes. Wen Qiao tentatively said, okay, why do you say that? Where have you seen eyes that look like me? Brother Dong raised his head. Huh? No, I just think your eyes look good. What's wrong? Wen Qiao felt a little lost in her heart. Yes, how could it be so coincidental? Nothing, I'll ask casually. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 362. In the afternoon, there were many boys who wanted to join the AF club as youth trainees. Without exception, they were all guarded by Brother Dong. Watching the game, Wen Qiao would occasionally shake his head slightly when he saw Brother Dong's serious expression. After interviewing more than a dozen candidates in the afternoon, It was already past 6 o'clock in the evening. It was already dark outside. Wen Qiao was hungry and went to a Sichuan restaurant outside the park with Brother Dong. How is it? The two took their seats, and Wen Qiao poured some barley tea for Brother Dong first. Brother Dong shook his head. The aptitudes are average, and they are not suitable for this bowl of rice. It's okay to play as an amateur. It's far from being a professional player. Wen Qiao's face was a little solemn. She also knows that AF has just been established. Compared with the giants in the esports industry, AF is a younger brother. Those who want to make some achievements in this industry have gone to CG, VG, and IC. Those three are giants in the esports industry, and they have already achieved a lot. Generally, those who come to AF for interview are all brushed down by those three companies. It is self-evident how the level is. Then what? Brother Dong shrugged, looking for it slowly. There are always some fish that slip through the net and are rejected by the three big ones, such as your brother Wen Qi. Wen Qiao sighed softly. It was really looking for a needle in a haystack. I hope that with luck, at least 4 to 6 youth trainees will be recruited as reservists. Brother Dong glanced at her and smiled. It's all trivial matters. Those 4 boys are all at the level of the regular army. The reserve can be picked slowly. If we don't make it, we must pick good ones. Wen Qiao nodded. When the 3rd high school entrance examination is over, they will train for a summer vacation and participate in the autumn regular season, hoping to be shortlisted. Zhou Jin soon returned to Haikan, and Fu Nanli went to the airport to pick him up in person. Zhou Jin was flattered. I'm really frightened, please, Mr. Fu, to welcome him. Fu Nanli gave him a sideways glance. Zhou Jin quickly turned his face, and the two walked to the garage side by side. I have looked through medical records at home and abroad these days. I have never seen this disease. Don't say anything after getting in the car. Even the driver, Lao Hu, was unwilling to reveal it. The more people in the world who knew about her condition, the more danger she would have. Zhou Jin, well, I know. Have you told her that you want to come to me for a physical examination? Fu Nanli frowned deeply. Not yet. She is very smart. I have to find some reason not to let her notice. Zhou Jin raised his eyebrows. I'm really curious about her. From the way you describe her in your words, you are trapped. When Fu Nanli didn't respond, Zhou Jin knew that he was right. It's not that Fu Nanli has no emotions, it's just that he hasn't met anyone who inspires him before. He was even more curious about how sacred the girl was. When Qiao had broken her wrist before, Fu Nanli thought, maybe she could use this as an excuse to take her to the hospital for a re-examination. That night, Fu Nanli took Wen Qiao to Xiaotangshan for dinner. The Chinese-style cook made Cantonese cuisine. Because Wen Qiao complimented a few words in Zhongcheng last time, Fu Nanli took it to heart and felt that she liked this kind of taste. In early spring, the courtyard outside the floor-to-ceiling windows still murmurs the sound of spring water, and there are cold stars in the distant mountains, mixed with the lamps hanging on the dwarf trees, and the light and shadow are graceful. Fu Nanli picked up a handkerchief and wiped the corners of her mouth. She reached out and gently grasped her left wrist. It's completely healed, right? Wen Qiao nodded. Well, okay, the doctor said don't use this hand to carry heavy objects. It's basically nothing. Go to the hospital with me tomorrow for a re-examination. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me. The boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 363. Wen Qiao put down the silver chopsticks. No need, I just checked it, and the doctor said it's recovering well. I'm worried. Wen Qiao leaned over very considerately. I still have a CT report in the hospital app on my mobile phone. Take a look at it. It's really recovering well. I only went for a checkup last week. After opening the hospital app, Fu Nanli held her hand, go to my private hospital and have a look, or I won't worry. Wen Qiao glanced at him, your private hospital is amazing, but the one I went to was also a public third-class hospital, which is also very authoritative. Who likes to run to the hospital with nothing to do? I checked it, and the experts said it was alright, so why bother to check it again? Obey, he seemed insistent. Wen Qiao thought, to put him at ease, then go to his private hospital for a checkup. Well, I'll go with you tomorrow. With her nodding, Fu Nanli was also relieved. But there are still problems ahead. To ask her to check, she must only need to take a CT to check the injuries on her hands, but Zhou Jin means that the brain and heart need to be checked, because according to Fu Nanli's recollection, when she fainted for the first time, the doctor said that the heartbeat kept dropping. So, how can she quietly have her brain and heart checked? The next day, Fu Nanli took Wen Qiao to his private hospital. A young nurse followed Li Fang. He instructed, take Miss Wen to take a CT scan, and take the CT report to my office later. Okay, Miss Wen, please come with me. The nurse led her into a consultation room and asked her to stand on an instrument first. As for these professional doctors and nurses, after the general patients entered, they basically did the same thing. Wen Qiao felt a little puzzled, she didn't follow her wrist. The instrument seemed to be for chest X-rays. Is it possible that private hospitals are different from public hospitals? When I asked, I was afraid that I would appear to be too ignorant. After all, the nurse looked professional and deserved. Okay, stand on the instrument on the right, lean your head forward as much as possible, yes, look straight ahead. Winko. We dare not ask. After the examination, the nurse led Wen Qiao to Li Fang's office. President, Miss Wen's examination has been done, and the report of the brain examination and chest X-ray will be sent to you later. Li Fang immediately stood up. What brain examination? She just broke her wrist before. Come over and check. How did you do things? Can't you do such a trivial thing? Wen Qiao was caught in the middle, a little embarrassed, and quickly persuaded Li Fang, forget it, the nurse just made a mistake. Li Fang pointed at the nurse, you can't do such a trivial thing well. You're wasting the time of Miss Fu's friend, which means you're wasting young Master Fu's time. Go directly to the personnel department to settle the salary. Wen Qiao looked at Fu Nanli, motioned him to say something quickly, and persuaded Li Fang on the side, Dr. Li, it's really fine, we're not busy, just check again if you make a mistake, the nurse may be too busy, don't blame her. Fu Nanli finally got up and glanced at Li Fang, Qiao said so, don't make a big deal. Let her take Qiao to check again. Wen Qiao was then taken to the CT room and took a CT photo of her wrist. Miss Nurse thanked Wen Qiao in particular, and Wen Qiao quickly said no thanks. In Li Fang's office, he whispered, what do you want Xiao Wen to do? Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 364. Fu Nanli said lightly, you shouldn't know these things, don't ask. Li Fang knows the current affairs, okay, I won't ask more questions, and don't say anything about the inspection. Rest assured. The CT report of the wrist was quickly given to Li Fang. Li Fang took a look and said, it is indeed recovering well. Be careful not to use force on your left hand, so that the bones can grow longer. Wen Qiao looked at Fu Nanli, I told you that it's fine, but you don't believe it. Fu Nanli pinched her face, I always have to check again before I can rest assured. You sit down first, I have something to deal with here, just wait for me for a while. When Fu Nanli left the office, Wen Qiao was a little puzzled, do you want him to handle the matter in the private hospital here? Li Fang smiled and said, the hospital is also from the young master's house. Occasionally, there are some important things for him to deal with. Xiaoan, sit down, do you want to drink something? Wen Qiao said quickly, no, you are busy. Fu Nanli went directly into an office at the end of the corridor. The doctor wearing a mask who had just done a brain and heart examination for Wen Qiao was Zhou Jin. Seeing her for the first time, I finally know why you fell. Fu Nanli didn't have time to discuss with her friends how beautiful her girlfriend was. There was a hint of urgency in her voice. Has her examination report come out? Zhou Jin nodded, it's out. How's it going? Fu Nanli's voice contained a nervousness that he was not aware of. Zhou Jin frowned deeply, can I say that her brain and heart are very healthy? Fu Nanli was in a mixed mood. He didn't know whether to be happy about her health, or sad that he couldn't find out why she had such symptoms, or the happiness that she could only stay by his side if she couldn't find out. His mood was complicated and contradictory. Really? Is it healthy? So what's next? Zhou Jin spread the report in front of him, you can read it yourself. Fu Nanli picked up the report and studied it carefully. Zhou Jin tapped the table lightly with his fingers, I'm thinking, maybe if she has another checkup when she gets sick, that will help me in my research. Fu Nanli paused with his fingers and looked gloomy, I don't want her to get sick. What excuse do you use to ask him to leave for 13 days? Qiao wanted to see him and why did he refuse her? The elevator door opened, looking at her squatting in the corner looking at him pitifully, such a picture, whenever he thought of it, would pierce his heart. She would think he didn't want her anymore. Feynman, if you really want to find the crux, you can't look ahead. When it's time to be ruthless, be ruthless. Fu Nanli's fingers trembled and threw the report on the table, let's talk about it. I will be in the country during this time. When you figure it out, just tell me. Fu Nanli closed his eyes lightly and replied lightly, got it? After leaving Zhou Jin's office, Fu Nanli walked along the long corridor. In the last fake plane crash, Wen Qiao's aggrieved face that he couldn't find him all over the world still lingered in his mind from time to time. Back to Li Fang's office, she pushed open the door, she was sitting on the sofa, she looked bored, and the spring light was shining behind her. When she heard the movement, Wen Qiao immediately turned her head to look at the door, then got up and walked towards him. Following her light footsteps, she walked over to him and took his hand, are you done? Fu Nanli clasped her hand with a backhand, and the two walked towards the elevator, well, it's done, let's go back. Ask for monthly tickets and recommended tickets. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 365. The people on the school board are very realistic. As soon as Fang Duo came to the school, the Fang family donated a 2 million yuan scholarship fund to the school. The people on the board of directors have also hinted to Yushu and Dong Yao, but it has little effect. That's no wonder they gave Fang Duo all the opportunities. When Qiao didn't care much, then we don't rely on the school. We treat ourselves as an unofficial folk music club. The school doesn't give us opportunities. We can create our own opportunities. Lu Yu, I opened our company's channel at Station B, and some of our ensemble works have also been uploaded. Now there are many fans, and some self-media and small TV stations want to invite us to perform. Chun Xiao, the president of Xinmin Music Club, is like a fighter. He seems to want to bring down Western music. Wen Qiao, let her hop on and off, the extreme will be the opposite. Lu Yu, she seems to have an economic person who is helping her to hype her up. It is really hot recently. The title of the most beautiful folk music fairy has been hyped very hot. Wen Qiao smelled some clues, is anyone helping her to hype it? Yes. Some pictures flashed in Wen Qiao's mind. Sulu had also started to be praised inexplicably before. Later, Sulu stopped, and this Fang Duo was supported by someone behind her back. How did she feel that it seemed to be directed at her? He supported Sulu because after her Mu identity was exposed, that person seemed to want to support someone to check and balance her. After that, Sulu killed herself and was out of control, so she became an abandoned child. Just as Fang Duo came back, they fell in love with them. I was afraid that it would be a hit and miss and each would get what they needed. So, who is it? Who wanted to suppress her so much? The first thing Wen Qiao thought of was He Qian. The He family was rich, He Qian liked Fu Nanli, and He Qian definitely didn't want her to be in the limelight, so she hid in the dark, held people up, and checked her. What company is behind her, do you know? Wen Qiao asked. Lu Yuyu shook her head. I don't know about this, but my friend sent me a photo before. She entered a TV building with a middle-aged woman in her 40s. The woman seemed to be an agent. Give me the photo and I'll check it out. Lu Yuyu flipped through and sent the photo to Wen Qiao. After Wen Qiao returned home, he checked the internet and learned that the woman was called Sister Li, who worked for Yuhua Entertainment and was the manager of Yuhua. When Sulu hyped up as a talented woman before, she never mentioned that there is an economic company behind her. But when Qiao found out through clues that Sulu's previous economic company was also Yuhua Entertainment. When Qiao leaned back in the chair and looked at the relationship network of Yuhua Entertainment, which was intricate and advanced, and there were other big companies behind it. When Qiao wanted to dig out some clues about the He family, but failed, and felt that he had walked into a dead end for a while. She decided that it was He Qian. After all, He Qian was put together by Fu Nanli before, and the He family suffered heavy losses. He Qian turned around and blocked her again, which was reasonable. Otherwise, she really couldn't think of anyone else who had spent so much money against her. Or the woman named Lin Mingshu who wanted to pretend to be Fu Nanli's girlfriend at first. I heard that she is also very active, and she has raised a lot of money with Heiken ladies, but it seems that those ladies gather together to make her a stumbling block. You Wen Qiao have received Fu Nanli, and you still think of infinite scenery, you are dreaming. Well, the voices of Heiken celebrities, she felt that she should have figured it out well. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 366. She took the mouse and flicked the page of the Industrial and Commercial Bureau of Yuhua Entertainment. The president and legal representative was a woman named Hime. It seems that it is still necessary to check Hime's identity and Hime's relationship network. She must at least know who is behind the scenes. Knowing yourself and knowing your enemy is invincible. Since knowing that Wen Qiao is a little liar, Fu Nanli has made some arrangements so that she will not be caught by others, and then this matter will be stabbed to his mother and grandfather. It was Saturday that Fu Nanli took Wen Qiao to a dinner party at the oil painting banquet hall in the city center. The dark golden lights in the oil painting hall were brightly lit. In front of the ivory white porch, the black Maybach slowly stopped. The doorman immediately stepped forward to open the door. Wen Qiao wore an ankle-length black long coat, and was embraced by Fu Nanli. Under the night of Vanity Fair, there were brighter and more charming clothes on her temples. Entering the oil painting hall, Fu Nanli helped Wen Qiao take off the outer coat, which was a champagne gold wrap fishtail skirt, revealing her fair and slender arms, and her figure was exquisite. As soon as I entered the door, I met Lin Mingshu and the Heiken celebrity group. Several women were dressed in jewels and looked expensive at first glance. When they saw Wen Qiao, their eyes instantly became aggressive. What about Winko? Wen Qiao was held in the arms of the man, like a weak and boneless disaster. Beside Fu Nanli, she would always forget that she was a strong man who could carry a bucket of drinking water to the 5th floor without panting. Maybe because Fu Nanli was too powerful, Her power seemed insignificant in front of him. The bodyguard Qin Bei said in front, "Master, go to the second floor." Fu Nanli walked in with Wen Qiao in his arms, and Qin Bei was stopped by Lin Mingshu and their group of Heikan ladies. Wen Qiao paused, wanting to see what the hell Lin Mingshu was up to. Lin Mingshu and the few famous ladies stood in front of Wen Qiao, staring at Wen Qiao, who touched his neck. "Sisters, it's boring. Even if I abdicate and let me go, the seat next to Fu Nanli will not be yours. Why bother to block people over and over again?" Lin Mingshu said straight to the point, "Young Master Fu, I assure you, Wen Qiao definitely took advantage of your memory loss to take advantage of her and lied to be your girlfriend. She is a complete liar." Across the bodyguard Qin Bei, Fu Nanli said indifferently, "Who is she?" Lin Mingshu suddenly became anxious, "We've met several times, I'm Lin Mingshu, I have evidence, I hired a private detective to investigate Wen Qiao, I have a lot of evidence in my hands, Master Fu, I will never lie to you, you have to believe me." Several famous ladies behind them also stared at Fu Nanli sincerely and pointed at Wen Qiao, "She is a liar, and she is scheming. You must not be deceived by her appearance, Master Fu." Hard-hearted, earnest, and persuasive. Wen Qiao felt that he was really heinous. Fu Nanli said, "Qin Bei, I'm paying you, but you can't even stop a few women." Qin Bei immediately said, "Please let us go to the second floor, please." Two more bodyguards came up behind. Lin Mingshu and her best friends could only watch Fu Nanli hug the spiral staircase with hollowed-out carvings on the water. Wen Qiao looked back at them with lingering fears. But in the eyes of these celebrities, this is a provocative look. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 367. Qin Bei and several other bodyguards tried their best to block these women, and then they went upstairs exhausted. That Wen Qiao is really a vixen. Yes, look at her arrogant look. She deserves to stand next to Master Fu. She not only stood next to Fu Xiao, but Fu Xiao also held her in his arms, which really pissed me off. Lin Mingshu, what do you think we should do now? You asked the detective to investigate so much evidence, and now Fu Xiao doesn't even look at it. Tell me, what should I do? Lin Mingshu was also puzzled. There are rumors in the outside world that the eldest young master of the Fu family is black-bellied and wise. Did that Wen Qiao give him a slap in the face? How could he obey that little fox? Then what? What do you do with the evidence? Lin Mingshu said irritably, I'll think of a way, I'll think of a way. She bears the high hopes of all Heikan ladies who adore Fu Nanli, and she must take off the mask of the little fox spirit. In the private room on the second floor, the two sat for a while, and Fu Nanli took 2 pictures for Wen Qiao. Winko. Hot. Can you not take it? A painting is 1 million, I dare not take it. Fu Nanli, I saw you painting well before. I thought you liked these works of art, so I took 2 pictures for you to play with. Wen Qiao bit his head and said, I feel that the place where you live is just right to hang those 2 paintings. I will take them to you and hang them up. Every time I go, I will appreciate them slowly. Fu Nan bowed his head, also. The owner of the oil painting hall sent them out in person. The banquet hall was crowded with people, and many people looked at them. Fu Nanli was still in the same posture as when he came. The envy, jealousy, and hatred in the eyes of the ladies who admired Fu Nanli were fermented in the oil painting hall in this spring day, and they were all saddened. Lin Mingshu was thinking about how she was going to find a way to give Fu Xiao the information she had collected. When she saw Fu Xiao's bodyguard Qin Bei coming straight to her, she was moved and smiled immediately. Miss Lin, is that right? Qin Bei asked. Lin Mingshu couldn't hide his excitement. Yes, I am. Our young master asked, do you have the evidence you collected with you? Yes, yes. Lin Mingshu hurriedly took out a USB flash drive from her clutch, Did Master Fu believe me? The evidence is all in it. Qinbei took the USB flash drive. Is this the only one? Well, just this one. Master asked which detective you hired. Lin Mingxia did not suspect him, and gave Qinbei the contact information of the detective. Does Master Fu want to ask the detective in person? The little liar can't run away. At the beginning, she just lied to Fu Xiao one step ahead of her, and she really took herself as the palace, who gave her face. Qinbei smiled slightly. Thank you, I'll take these back to the young master first. Lin Mingxia couldn't help but said, has Master Fu started to be suspicious? After all, they have been together for so long, and the little fox must have revealed a lot of tricks. With Fu Xiao's wisdom, how could she be deceived? Qinbei smiled, I don't want to ask too much about the young master's affairs. I'll take the things first. That night, Fu Nanli sent Wen Qiao home, and Qinbei gave the contact information of the USB flash drive and the detective to his young master. Fu Nanli inserted the USB flash drive into his computer, browsed the evidence they had collected one by one, and shook his head while watching. The little liar wanted to deceive people, but he left so many hidden dangers. People can no longer find evidence. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 368. Finally, he called the detective over there. Hey, I heard that your agency is the best detective agency in Haikan, and it is quite famous in the circle. The other side quickly said, you have won the prize. May I ask you, sir, is there anything you need us to do? From murder cases to wife cheating and rape, our club has a complete range of business. There's nothing for you to do, just one thing to tell you not to pick up. The other party was stunned. What's the matter? If someone wants to investigate Wen Qiao again, don't pick it up, or your company will only live in people's mouths. To put it bluntly, or I will make you bankrupt. Please, may I ask who you are? I'm Fu Nanli. The other party was immediately dumbfounded. Yes, I know, Mr. Fu, it's about your girlfriend. We will definitely not take any business. The rich and powerful are in deep water, and they dare not dabble in this muddy water. Lin Mingxia waited for 7 or 8 days, but there was no news. Every lady who invested money in Wen Qiao called her to ask her how the situation was. Lin Mingxia could only appease them one by one. Fu Xiao already knows that he is a little liar, and he must have kicked her away. Are you still waiting for the new year? A group of celebrities couldn't hold back and went to a bar to celebrate. Fu Nanli rarely set foot in these places, but Fu Chen was a fun-loving person, and he wanted to know as much as possible what Wen Qiao and their children liked to play, so he took Wen Qiao and went to the law bar at Fu Cheng's appointment. So Lin Mingxia saw Fu Nanli, who was dressed casually, drag Wen Qiao through their private room. A group of celebrities seemed to have detectors on their eyes. Fu Nanli walked over, and they immediately slumped on the door and went out to look. It's really Fu Nanli. Beside him is the little fox spirit Wen Qiao. It's Wen Qiao. Everyone looked back at Lin Mingxia, and they were all furious. Didn't you say that the detectives this time are very powerful and have collected a lot of evidence that can kill Wen Qiao in one fell swoop? Lin Mingxia was puzzled. I'm sure, Master Fu should be angry when he sees the evidence. She spent a lot of money, and the detective agency took half a year to collect all the evidence. What's so embarrassing and angry? Just walking on the ground, Fu Xiao told the little fox not to play with the phone and pay attention to his feet. He was holding it in his hand for fear of falling. Lin Mingxia frowned. I suspect now. What do you suspect? I suspect that Fu Xiao intends to keep his troops on hold. It is very likely that Wen Qiao will be caught behind. Fu Xiao is planning to use a long line to catch big fish. The more she spoils her, the more arrogant she will become. In the end, she exposes her shortcomings. Concubine pets are like this, It's called slaughtering. After thinking about it carefully, the ladies seem to make some sense. Then let's wait for Wen Qiao to be kicked away by Master Fu. There will definitely be that day. She is really bold, and she even planned on Fu Xiao's head. No one can save her. The ending should be very miserable. Several people whispered, I heard that Fu Zhang was imprisoned because he wanted to harm Fu Xiao, but was arrested by Fu Xiao's bureau. And the He family, I heard that it has something to do with Fu Xiao. Lin Mingshu waved his hand, don't spread rumors about this kind of non-existent thing. What we mean is that if you offend Fu Xiao, it will definitely not end well. This Wen Qiao, she will just wait for bad luck. Wen Qiao, who was expected to be unlucky, sat on the sofa and took the fruit wine that Fu Nanli made for her. Take a sip and see. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 369. Wen Qiao held the phone in one hand and the fruit wine in the other, without taking his eyes off the phone screen. Because Yunyu was talking about holding a small concert in the group, she occasionally had to reply a few words. Wen Qiao took a sip and pursed her lips, delicious. Slightly perfunctory. Fu Nanli sat next to her with her long legs folded, wondering, does the phone look so good? His mobile phone was only used for making calls, and WeChat almost only chatted with her alone, and he didn't seem to be able to use other functions very much. Why can't Wen Qiao's eyes be inseparable from his mobile phone? Wen Qiao was drinking fruit wine while replying to Yo-Yo's question with one hand, ignoring the burning gaze beside her. Fu Nanli stared at her for about 20 minutes, and she didn't even give him a look. Since then, realizing that the mobile phone seems to be more attractive than him, he walked to the small bar in the private room sullenly. Fu Chen made him a glass of wine, the kid is very busy. Fu Nanli raised his eyebrows slightly, keep looking at the phone. His tone was a little sullen, even a little aggrieved. Fu Chen laughed out loud, brother, are you jealous? Eating jealousy from a mobile phone. Fu Nanli took a sip of whiskey and said in a deep voice, what about me? Fu Chen shrugged, I think it's as good as it is. Wen Qiao finally agreed with their club members to hold a small concert in a small theater, and heaved a sigh of relief. They will seriously list tickets on the ticketing website. The venue can accommodate 1,000 people. I don't know how many people will come to their performances. In addition, she felt that supporting Fang Duo behind the scenes should be able to rule out Lin Mingshu. Lin Mingshu is not the kind of person who can hold back and hide behind. As long as she has some evidence, she can't wait to give it to Fu Nanli directly. Fortunately, Fu Nanli trusted her in every possible way, and did not believe Lin Mingshu's evidence. Then Lin Mingshu is excluded, and only He Qian is left. Frankly speaking, she felt that He Qian didn't have the ability. He Qian also belongs to the straightforward type in her life. She sent a photo of He Mei, president of Yuhua Entertainment, to Yu Shu, sister, if you have time, help me check this person. Yu Shu still made fun of Wen Qiao, but since the last famous painting incident, she has admired this girl who is 1 year younger than her. With a word from Wen Qiao, she will get things done for her regardless of the cost. What's more, it's a small case like investigating a single person. Wen Qiao put away her phone and saw Fu Nanli sitting on the high chair in front of the bar drinking, and hurried over. Fu Nanli glanced at her, finally finished talking. The voice was sad. Wen Qiao knew that she had been chatting with Lu Yuyu and the others along the way, so she quickly said, Brother Nan Li's shoulders are sore? Can I pinch it for you? Fu Chen, I should be under the car, not in the car. The waiter who brought things into the private room opened the door, and through the crack of the door, Lin Mingshu, who just passed by, saw Wen Qiao pinching Fu Nanli's shoulder diligently, and hurried back to his private room with a light sigh. Major discovery. Fu Xiao used the little fox as a servant in private, and Wen Qiao helped him knead his shoulders and legs in the private room. The ladies are now at ease. That's right, people come from humble backgrounds, don't mind being low and small, taking 10,000 steps back. Even if Fu Xiao didn't know that he was a little liar, he would definitely just play with her and enjoy the feeling of someone obeying him unconditionally. After all, these daughters have their own personalities. Amnesiac Bigshot remembers only me, the boss lost his memory and only remembers me. Author, Ding Jiashu. Chapter 370. After pinching her shoulders twice, Wen Qiao's wrist was grabbed by the man, and with a gentle pull, she sat on his lap. Fu Cheng, yes, I'll get to know each other, brother, you two talk slowly, I'm next door. He lowered the high chair a little so that she could sit on his lap. Does the phone look good? You and Yo-Yo are talking about school, it's business. You spend more time with Lu Yo-Yo than with me. Are you by my side and chat with her? Lu Yo-Yo, his neck was cold, and he was lying down with a gun. It's just a matter of time, catch up. Fu Nanli caressed the corner of her mouth with rough fingers. You're quite busy. Wen Qiao said quickly, I will not chat with them when I am with you in the future. Look, how fast she is progressing, she is slowly groping out her experience, and she knows what he wants to hear. Fu Nanli's face finally softened, and when he touched her face, the child finally learned a little understanding. When leaving the bar, Wen Qiao was guarded by the boss again and left surrounded by bodyguards. Celebrities don't envy Wen Qiao anymore. After all, the dignitaries in front of others suffer and suffer later, so what's there to envy? After walking to the door of the bar, Fu Nanli opened the door for Wen Qiao, put her hands on the roof of the car and escorted her into the car. That's Fu Nanli, it's worth it to suffer later. Who wouldn't want to be a bull and a horse for Mr. Fu in exchange for the opportunity to become his girlfriend? After sending Wen Qiao home, Fu Nanli went to Xiaotangshan, because Fu Chuan and Qin Bei investigated the previous islanders' affairs, and some things happened. Entering the Xiaotangshan private room, Fu Chuan took out a stack of photos. The islander who leaked the news to Fu Zhang was found in a small hotel in Pattaya, Southeast Asia. When he found it, he was already dead. The infarction is sudden, and I don't know if it is a myocardial infarction itself, or someone has taken medicine. Fu Nanli squinted his eyes. The clue is broken. If the islander just provides clues to Fu Zhang and wants to make some money, then he doesn't need to pursue it. His only concern was whether anyone behind the islanders instructed him to do so, and Fu Zhang was a good deterrent. In addition, if there is such a behind-the-scenes instigation, this person is coming for him or for Qiao Qiao. If this matter is not clear, he can't sleep at night. Fu Chuan whispered a few words to him again, and Fu Nanli's eyes flashed coldly. Is there any evidence? I'm not sure, I'll check it out. Fu Nanli, after finding some evidence, hold on tight and see what he's going to do. I know. Fu Chuan left, and he was the only one left in the room. Only a floor lamp was lit. He stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, his back was a little lonely, and his face was slightly chilled. If it's just for him, that's fine. The business world is intriguing and arguing, and he can control it. But if it's for Zhou Jin's plan had to be put on the agenda. He was a little dry, and Zhou Jin couldn't really cure her. He could only check her when she was in a coma, so that he could study this strange disease. Whether the results of the study can be found is still unknown. Everything in the future is an unknown to him. In the more than 20 years of his life, everything has been carried out in an orderly manner under his arrangement. Wen Qiao is the only variable in his life. Ask for monthly tickets and recommended tickets. In addition, Xiaotangshan is just a small town in Beijing, a hot spring town. I just used this name, not only Xiaodangshan Hospital. I hope everyone is healthy and we can overcome the difficulties together.